From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One more corner pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan and
And Corey Clark.
Wake up! What is up, everybody? It's Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Coming up on today's show, Corey and I debate, embrace it, our number 5 picks in the Warchant Top 40. Baba Miller goes off for gold, a position change, recruiting wrap-up. All of that on today's show. Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, Tallahassee, Florida. CPTallybar.com, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. It's Monday. Go get you a half-pound Black Angus burger with fries, curly fries, maybe coleslaw, potato salad, side salad for only $8.99 from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. over at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. And don't forget, tomorrow on Tuesday, that's Corey Clark's day. That's Trivia Day over at the CP. Again, cptallybar.com. We love the Corner Pocket. Hit that QR code. Takes you right to the website. We're also brought to you by our great friends over at Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Shake it and take it. Try it. You will like it. The Mood Plus, currently on the desk, promoting the positive mood. Use the promo code WarChampBOGO to take advantage of a great offer over at vitaminenergy.com. Buy one, get one free. Again, WarChampBOGO, B-O-G-O. And yeah, we got Corner Pocket, we got Vitamin Energy helping out, but we got lots of stuff going on over at warchant.com as well as our YouTube channel. We've got the Warchant Report. We've got the Warchant Wrap. Pre-game, post-game shows, all these things. You can put your name on it, and I can read it, or Jeff Cameron can read it, or Tom Lang can read it. Get at me, though. Aslan at warchant.com if you're interested in using your business alongside warchant.com's great programming. Now then, we turn our attention to our guy in Parts Unknown because he wants to create content because you can't spell Corey Clark without content. What's up, Corey?
What's up, buddy? We should say that they will not have trivia this Tuesday because it will be July 4th.
Oh,
so I just want to throw that out there. But they will have live music on Saturday with Tom and the Cats. Little 90s, I think 80s and 90s cover band playing all the hits from the 80s and 90s. So yeah, go out there, be a good time. And I'm doing great, man. I'm in Parts Known, Biloxi, Mississippi.
My man.
About to lose a lot of money.
No, don't say that. I feel good about it, man.
I always do. I think the problem, though, I don't lose a lot of money, but I never have one of those weekends that you hear about where people like, oh, man, I made $9,000. I want to because I don't bet that heavy.
Yeah.
So my highs aren't ever high at all, but my lows aren't terrible either. I won't lose a ton of money, but I never win a ton either because I'm a baby and I won't bet big.
What's that game that you play? That's like craps?
Pai Gow. I've already lost $100 playing that before we even started the show. As soon as I checked into the casino, I didn't even go to my hotel room. I just went to Pai Gow, made sure they still had it, and immediately lost $100.
It's all right. Let's get the bad stuff out the way. Get the bad stuff out
That's
the
right.
way. All right, let's roll here. Let's do our show, man. Let's talk about the top 40.
Here we go.
Corey and Aslan. We are now inside the top 5. Picks 6 through 10 of the entire panel can be found over at warchant.com as well as on our YouTube channel. We're going to talk about our number 5 picks singularly because that's how we're going to be rolling them out from here on out. We'll be going one by one over on warchant.com as well as our YouTube channel, so do check that out. Corey, I'll defer to you since you're on the road.
I mean, don't do that because I don't know what mine was.
Our guy, Corey Clark, went with my number 6 pick. He went with Jaheim Bell at number 5. Ahead of Keon Coleman. I put Keon Coleman ahead of Jaheim Bell. Keon Coleman, man, listen. That sounds like dismissive.
So is Keon your 5th?
Yes, correct.
Okay, all right, gotcha. Okay.
Man, of anybody upsetting the apple cart, Keon Coleman has to be the odds-on favorite, like to be the number 1 option, right? I mean, I guess you and I have Fisk really high, so maybe we think that Fisk could be that number 1 interior defensive lineman, defensive tackle rather. But man, like Keon Coleman could usurp even Johnny Wilson. We're not going to assume that, but maybe for the sake of this 15-minute condensed podcast, like not that I'm pounding my chest. You had Keon at 6. I have him at 5. I had Jaheim at 6. You had Jaheim at 5th. Yeah, man, Keon Coleman could legit be the number 1 receiver, pass-catching target, whatever. So I've got him at 5th, so that's why.
Yeah, look, man, it's just varying degrees. Like it's not both of them are in the top six. I can't even recall why I put one in front of the other. I think Jaheim Bell, like we talked about in the last show we did, is going to be a huge part of this offense. But is he going to be a big a deal as Keon Coleman? I have no idea. I'm curious what this offense looks like with a tight end like this. In an H-back like this, a guy that you can give him 6 carries in a game. South Carolina gave him 20 in a game. You can throw it to him over the middle. He had two games, or we had a game where he had 2 65-yard touchdown catches. That's a tight end. So this guy is just a kind of a freak of an athlete that we haven't seen in this offense yet. But you could say the same about Keon Coleman. They have never had a number 2 wide receiver like him, and let's say maybe he does become the number 1 guy, and then Johnny's your number 2. I mean, there's nobody on earth that's been a number 2 like Johnny Wilson. So either way, I think we're splitting hairs at this point. We both think they're going to be very, very valuable and huge pieces of this offense.
Yeah, I guess Jaheim's got that versatility kind of component more so than Keon.
Yeah, but Keon could change a game, man. Like tight end, it's great. I don't foresee Jaheim having like 60 catches for 950 yards this season, just because I don't think that's what the tight end position will be. But at the same time, I could see Keon Coleman having a season like that.
Yeah.
So look, we might look back at this in December and we both had Keon Coleman too low. We have no idea what this guy's ceiling is with Jordan Travis throwing him the ball and Mike Norvell calling plays for him.
Trying to think, if the season doesn't work out the way we all hope it is, like, would it be one of these guys that falls short kind of delivering what we think that leads them to not achieving the success that we see, or if they're too much of a complementary piece of this puzzle to be that deciding of a factor? But hey, man, we have them like top 5 in terms of impact. So I feel like, like Jaheim, we really value and respect just how athletic he is. I think like if Keon isn't this amazing number 2 receiver, if Jaheim can pick up the slack, like you're still fine. Like you kind of hedge yourself on a legit number 2 target with one of these guys, because if this offense is going to be what we think it's going to be, like these guys have to live up to the hype that we're giving them.
Yeah, but it's hype that they've already. It's
results
proven. They've already proven.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They've already proven that they can do this. So it's not like we're just hoping that Darian Williamson takes a big jump, because we've seen it a couple of practices or we've seen it in a game or two. I mean, these guys have done it at the highest level, both of them. So yeah, it's not like it's, wishful thinking. It's just, kind of realistic thinking that in this offense with these weapons, with a lot of one-on-one coverage, that both of these guys should really shine. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if both of them are all ACC. I mean, There is a chance, there is a world where both of them become all ACC first-team guys.
Yeah, I think you might have won, because I think even my point about Keon being maybe the most likely guy to usurp and take over the number 1 role, I mean, like Jaheim, I don't want to say cakewalk, but I think he's got a much more manageable sort of task of overtaking Marqueson than Keon does overtaking Johnny Wilson, than Braden has overtaking Fabian, or if we want to say Fentrell over Renardo Green. So good pick, Corey. You win this time. No,
I don't think so. I think we both. I think we both won.
Oh, look at that. Speaking of tight ends, Brian Courtney. We have a lot of tight ends, everybody. Like we joked about, them having lots of tight ends, and only Cam McDonald moved on. That's because he had to. He had no more eligibility left. So this one kind of makes sense. Brian Courtney, who played multiple positions in high school, apparently Jeff Cameron protege, or at least one of the GM Cameron's picks about, how about we relocate this guy to the other side of the ball. Brian Courtney now listed on the Seminoles.com roster, the Florida State official roster, as tight end / linebacker. I should pull up his stats, at least like his physical stats, let everybody know what we're dealing with here. But obviously no objection to that. This sounds like a fun little experiment, as we have so many other pieces kind of settled, right, Corey? Like this will be something fun to watch on the side, it feels like, as we get to the preseason practices.
Yeah, Jeff was saying that all last year that Brian Courtney would be should move to linebacker because of his, I think, the glut of tight ends they had. Number one, it was just a bunch of guys there, especially when Jaheim Bell came, and then maybe his stature and also his athleticism, that it would just make sense. And we'll see, man. I mean, I've been saying it for a year and a half that he does move well. for that size. Now, he played quarterback in high school, so he never played tight end. I think he played some defense in high school.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, so maybe safety. I don't know if he played linebacker or not, but he did play defense in high school. And look, man, he's if he goes into this season as your third tight end or fourth tight end, he's trying to get on the field. They need linebackers. They need guys that are physical and can run, and he's certainly that. He can at least run. For that size, he's a very athletic, mobile kid, and maybe he likes the contact, and maybe he'll be good at it. We'll see. It's a good way for him to try to get on the field, because it didn't seem like tight end was going to work out where he was one of the guys that was part of the game plans week to week. And they have depth concerns. They certainly do not at tight end, but they have depth concerns at linebacker for sure.
Linebacker / tight end. He's not going to wear the number 40, giving up the number 86, so 40. 6'3", 228 is what he's listed at on the roster. So that'll hunt. That'll hunt at the linebacker spot. Yeah, and a reminder, again, they have Jaheim Bell, Preston Daniel, Jackson West is still here, Kyle Morlock, and Marquise Douglas, and Jarrell Powers.
Yeah, who they love.
Yes, so lots of talent there. So shout out to Brian for being a team player. And then, yeah, man, there's opportunity there. I think we really like what Tatum and Kalen bring, DJ Lundy to a certain degree, and Omar Graham showed that he was probably capable as a freshman, but nothing set in stone at that second kind of team, if you will.
Yeah, and look, if it doesn't work out and he doesn't take to it, I'm not being callous, but the portal's there for a reason. He can go be a tight end somewhere else and shine, perhaps. But it's just at Florida State, if you're fourth or fifth string, this just you know what I mean? Like
yes.
You hope he has a good career and can get on the field in some capacity somewhere. This is probably his only chance at Florida State to get on the field.
Yeah. All right, we'll have Michael Langston on here in a little bit to talk about recruiting. It's going to be a busy week of it, 4th of July. Lots of guys.
Hey, got some commits, huh?
Yeah, they did, man. So
there you go, Noles.
That's something cool to look at. Also, how about our guy Baba Miller? Native Spaniard out there helping Spain win the FIBA Under-19 World Cup Championships. He played in 7 games in the tournament. His team ran the table. They were perfect 7-0. He averaged 9.4 points, 6 rebounds, and 1.3 assists while starting every game out there. Shout out to our own Irish O'Fell for keeping his ear to the ground on this while it was happening. Apparently, in the gold medal game, the championship game, he was quiet through 3 quarters, Corey, but in about 5 minutes of the 4th quarter, he scored 9 points, grabbed 3 boards, and had an assist and a steal. To help them rally from a 7-point deficit and then force overtime. He fouled out in overtime, but hey, man, he got his team to overtime, and they pulled away and won 73-69 over France.
Supremely talented kid. We know that. Kind of a, with the portal and everything in Florida State, when you look around the country, you're not overwhelmed with what Florida State did in the portal. They got some nice pieces, but nobody that you're like, oh, God, they're a Final Four team now, or even a tournament team necessarily. But Baba Miller, when you want to talk about a wild card, like this is the guy. Like this is a guy, remember, people projected him to be an NBA draft pick. And showings like he had, even a little burst like that. And he had a few moments here and there, but clearly you almost can't even judge him from that freshman season. That team was awful. When he joined it, they were, 3-13. It was the worst. It was worst season in school history. Not great chemistry. It didn't seem like. It's almost like he gets a fresh start in 2023-24, and I'm excited about what he can be, because there's a chance he can be really, really good. There is a world, I'm not saying it's the truth right now, and I'm not saying it ends up being the case, where you're better off with him than Matthew Cleveland. There is a world where that's the case. We'll see. Matthew Cleveland played really hard for Florida State at times, had some big moments, a couple of huge shots. But Baba Miller has maybe more of a complete game if he's playing to his potential. So it was cool that he got a win like that, because Lord knows he didn't get a lot of wins while he was at Florida State last year.
Michael Langston coming up in a minute, but first, check out mybookie.ag and use that promo code WARCHANT for an instant cash deposit bonus for your first-time sign-up, folks. Do check it out. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere. They also have a live casino, so I don't know if you can play Pie Gal, but you can pretend that you're Corey Clark playing Pie Gal in the comfort of your own home, maybe in your underwear. How about this one, Corey? Odds to win the SEC. Georgia's minus 111, or minus 116. +216. Great numbers out there from our guys in Antigua. Alabama's +240. LSU +460. I kind of like the value there. You can root for the Noles and LSU at the same time as well. So I would say maybe take LSU for some fun there. 4-1 payout's not the worst, not the best either, but it's the preseason, everybody.
What if you put? Alabama's +240.
Yeah.
Come on now. It's still Alabama, right?
Yeah, who's our
still
quarterback?
Saban.
Who's our quarterback?
It does.
Kid from Notre Dame, I think. They got the kid from Notre Dame, I think, right? Yeah.
I would. Alabama too. You're right though. LSU. But when I did all those, when I was looking at their numbers for how many starts they had, that's an experienced team with a quarterback that's played 40. He started 43 games already in his college career. He's going to end up with 55 career starts.
He started the Sun Bowl. He started the Sun Bowl in El Paso.
Yeah, he's gone up against James Blackman and Jordan Travis.
Twice, yeah.
Kidding me? Will he's coached again, or he's gone up against Odell Hagan? Wasn't Odell the coach there?
Yeah.
Odell and Mike Norvell. LSU. That's a good number, man. That's basically 5-1 odds.
Yeah, roughly.
And they're the second. They might be the second most talented team in that conference. They might be the most talented team for all we know. So yeah, you're right, Aslan. I'm with you on that. Everybody, have we ever steered you wrong? Go get you some LSU.
All that information provided for entertainment purposes.
Sure.
Bet responsibly. Bet over at mybookie.ag using that promo code WARCHAMP. Michael Langston coming up right after this break. All right, so we reconvene after a pretty busy weekend for Florida State in terms of recruiting stuff, Michael. The Noles land 2 commitments on Saturday. D.D. Holmes, and then followed by Ricky Knight. We got a long weekend ahead of us, but just to kind of catch everybody up on Holmes first to pop. I mean, this is a guy at a position of need from a very storied program at Gonzaga Prep in Washington, D.C. Tweeted it out over there on Saturday. What sort of impact do you think he'll have to this class and at least addressing the need for the Noles here in the short term?
Yeah, it was a big pickup for them. Obviously, they didn't get Dylan Stevenson, who they led for a while, and then so they didn't have a defensive commit in this class. So adding a premier guy like this that has a lot of length, speed, great edge rusher, knows how to get after the quarterback. Sure, there's some technique stuff that you want to clean up, but that goes for a lot of talented 4-stars in. But I think as an edge rusher, he adds a lot of value to what you're doing as a program. I think his feel for the program will. The impact will probably be maybe a year after he's been there. But I think he's a guy that can flash a little bit in that first year. But tremendous pickup. They did a great job. Officially visited on the 23rd. That really knocked out of the park. You can read the story on the front page. I got up with Dede last night. Really good. Really open about how that official visit really just kind of locked the door and slammed it shut that it was going to be FSU. But I think it's a massive pickup because they don't have a lot of guys. We've seen a lot of offensive recruits, but they don't have many defensive recruits in there. So they need somebody to kind of cover the other side of the ball. And I think Dede's a really good start for them.
Yeah. That did not end the good news on Saturday for the Noles, and they went ahead and got a defensive back. Golly, wish you could report to camp right now and help out. That'd be great. Think we need some help there, but whatever. That's for another topic for another day. Ricky Knight, obviously an athlete, but probably on the back end of this defense. What do you think it means to have him in the fold now, Michael?
Yeah, it's really good because I like what he does versatility-wise. He's a guy that can play corner. He can play safety. He's diverse. He plays on the offensive side of the ball, as far as in high school. So I think he adds a lot of just different value. And he's a guy that kind of blew up in the spring where a lot of people took notice of him. I think he had a few combines and camps. I think the Under Armour camp, he won the DB MVP there. You had guys like 4-star Kai Bates was there, 4-star Zay Mincy was there, and he's the guy that won the MVP. So overall, I think he was the complete package of what they were looking for in that event. So I think he's a guy that's really just blown up. They beat Miami out for him. Miami was pushing to try to get him visited officially Miami the last weekend. But I think I've said this from the start. I think FSU was his first offer. I think FSU was the preferred destination for Ricky from the start. I think as long as FSU wanted him, this was going to be a guy that would probably end up at FSU. That's what we didn't know is he a take? Because there's so many DBs out there for FSU. But I think as the process went on and then that weekend where you visit on officially for FSU on June 16th, you really got to feel like, hey, this guy's coveted. They want him in there. It's likely going to happen. And then shortly after that, I think we started seeing some predictions for FSU. But really versatile athlete that I love. I think is going to add a lot to their program. Not going to be a guy that you need to lean on the first years, but I think he's a guy that you can bring along your own pace. What I like about his game is his freshman cover skills are very good, and he's long. He's got some really long arms for a DB, so he can really close on those passing windows. So I think that's kind of some of the things I think that Patrick Surtain liked about him. Just watching him, and he's just a playmaker. If you watch a lot of his highlights, I mean, he's everywhere. He's now going to be at Cardinal Newman. That's the same so as Kevin Levy, who's likely, I feel, to end up at FSU as well. That's his cousin. So I think certainly a solid pickup, and a guy, people have asked me, that a guy that I feel like is going to be probably a consensus 4-star when it all shakes out.
Okay. I was about to shout out the Benjamin School and Jordan Travis, but we got to go to Cardinal Newman now to give him some love. All right, Michael. So with all that, I saw a tweet like Florida State bolts up the rankings. Probably not where a lot of fans want them to be. I mean, they're still 14th.
Right.
But I guess the good news is that July is just starting. And the 4th of July, obviously, there's going to be lots of fireworks for all of you at home. Cheesy pun. What are you going to do, everybody? But it's going to be a really busy day for you, probably me as well. Several guys set to commit. How about you run through a couple of these guys' names that people need to know that will be committing? We assume they've announced, so they will announce on the 4th.
Yeah, it's going to be busy, a busy 4th of July and a busy July in general. I think Elijah Moore has already come out like he's going to announce his decision. 4-star wide receiver, he will announce. So you have him coming up. I feel really good about FSU's chances there. I think they get some good news there. And then also you have another 4-star big receiver. Both these guys are big receivers. James Madison, I checked just to make sure. I get the indication that he would be a take in this class. So that's a guy I'll be monitoring, closely. Now, a guy that hasn't labeled July 4th, but I'm sensing that he likely, probably decides on July 4th is Jonathan Daniels. That's a 5-star offensive lineman out of Pensacola. He's a guy that I feel really good about as well, that FSU gets good news there when he does do it. He hasn't set the specific date, but I think it might be just kind of one of those surprise things that he just pops it and announces. But I do I really like FSU's position there. I officially visited on the 23rd as well. Did a really good job. Alex Atkinson is very involved in that recruitment from the start. And there's a different feel when it comes to FSU. So I think you have those guys coming up. You also have Rydarius Morgan out of Phoenix City, Alabama, 3-star safety that FSU offered late in the spring. They've got him up on campus a few times, even officially visited on the June 2nd, I want to say. And he's a guy that I also have heard some trending rumblings that FSU's trending in the right direction. He's also going to announce on July 4th. So it's going to be a very active, July 4th for FSU, I feel.
Does he go by the name Red? Some people call him Red?
Yes. Yeah, Rydarius Red Morgan.
Okay, cool. I couldn't how, first off, no offense, but how am I going to spell Rydarius? But then I'm like, oh, there we go. Phoenix City represent right on the border there between Alabama and Georgia. Kylan Fox, isn't he supposed to come in on the 4th, or ship sailed to
Kylan will be announcing on the 4th as well. I'm expecting UCF, as I pointed out multiple times. But as far as guys that I feel like there's a legit shot with FSU is those are the guys I mentioned. But yeah, Kylan Fox, I feel like it's likely going to be UCF, but we're still going to monitor it. You never know. FSU's still working it. I told people they're going to work it until that final announcement happens. So I know they're still working the angles, trying to get him in, trying to focus on the fit, not so much the, number and being the number one guy. So I think they're still working it, but right now I would expect UCF at this point.
All right. And for the folks that are listening to us on audio format, just to catch everybody up on all these guys, D.D. Holmes, 6'6", 240-pound defensive end. Defensive lineman, I guess some people might want to say. Ricky Knight, 6'1", 167 defensive back, as Michael hinted at, probably moving towards 4-star ranking status. Jonathan Daniels, we on On3 have him as a 5-star, but he's a consensus 4-star, about 6'5", 275 offensive lineman out of Pensacola. And then Red Morgan, 5'11", 175 out of Phoenix City, Alabama. Those are the guys that probably will be committing, we think, on the 4th, as well as Elijah Moore, 6'4", 190 out of Maryland. So lots of length, lots of athleticism, lots of grown blank men, a coach that used to be around here said. So stay connected to warchant.com and everything going on over on the premium recruiting board, Michael, because you're not taking the weekend off. You're not taking the holiday off, are you?
No, I'll be around. And there might be some surprises. We'll see. We'll keep track of these things are happening so fast. And then also get yourself ready on July 28th. You have Charles Lester, 5-star, announcing. That's another big one for FSU. So July is going to be a very active month for FSU. I'm thinking they could get around 6 or 7, if not a little more than that, additions added to this class. I think we already saw 2 of those, but I think you could see more. So expect that number 14 to go up a little bit more. When this all shakes out, I think FSU could be pretty high up there in the rankings.
Well, yeah, let me get on this one here, Michael. Next time we do one of these, do you think Florida State will be in the top 10?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do. I can never predict when we're going to do the next one of these, but
I'm saying like in a week from now, if we do this next Sunday, for example, right now.
Yeah, I think if they get what they're supposed to get, I think there's a good chance they'll be inside or at the top 10 mark. And then if they get who I think they're going to get for the rest of July, I think there's certainly I think we'll be inside that top 10 mark. So certainly a lot of activity is going to happen in July. This is expected. This is planned. They've kind of orchestrated this. I think they wanted some July decisions right before the season. We're in a dead period right now, so it's a perfect time to get some decisions and get some momentum going. And I think that's the main thing: get a little momentum going before you kick off this big FSU season where they kick off against LSU.
Thanks again to Michael. Thank you for listening to the show. We will do 2 more of these, believe it or not. We'll probably record on Wednesday and Thursday, give you folks a Thursday and Friday show. We're going to take a few days off for Independence Day. Hope you're all able to do the same. And if not, at least spend some time with your family, having some good times, enjoying this fantastic summer weather, huh? It's been amazing, right? But we'll be plenty busy over at warchant.com. As Michael said, I mean, there's like a quartet of guys that are set to announce on the 4th of July. And there's a good chance they're all going to commit to Florida State. So let's see what that means for that recruiting ranking, which right now is 14th. Again, when it comes to high school, because we don't factor in the transfer portal. One of these days we will. But that'll all be going on over at warchant.com, as well as Warchant TV, our YouTube channel. So subscribe to that as well. Hit the thumbs up. Leave a 5-star rating and review. JCS, check out the Twitter feed. See when they'll be dropping shows this week. They'll be doing a few as well. And don't forget, support the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Support our good friends over at vitaminenergy.com. Use that promo code WarChampBOGO, B-O-G-O. Give 1 box to that guy in the office or that gal in the office that needs a little pep in the step. Maybe they need some better focus. Maybe they need some better moods. There's a vitamin energy for that. So try it. Shake it and take it. For Corey and Michael and Aslan, thank you so much for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.